Hello lovely people! In this crochet tutorial we will make a little dolphin together. So for this project we are using two colors, but you don't have to. If you're not comfortable with using two colors at once, then you can still crochet along with me using just one color, and whenever I make a color change you just make a regular single crochet. So that's no problem at all. There's also a free written version of the pattern available, accessible on my website, and there's also a PDF version that you can purchase for a small fee on Etsy and Ravelry. And I also have a Ribbler version if you'd like an interactive pattern on the Ribbler app. And so you can find all the links in the description box below. Let's get into what materials we need for the dolphin. I'm using DK light worsted yarn, that's size 3. For this video I'm using Knitcraft by Hobbycraft Tiny Friends. And for the written pattern, the PDF, I used Riku Creative Rikurumi DK. And this shade here is called Denim. And for the belly I used Mastic. And now I'm using this bluish gray and cream. Then we also need a 2.5 millimeter hook that's in between a C2 and B1. For most of you, I'd recommend a C2, unless you crochet very loosely, in which case you can go for a B1 or 2.25 millimeters. Then we need some Fiberfill, scissors, a yarn needle, a few pins, a stitch marker, and for the embroidery we need black embroidery floss and a darning needle or large-eyed sewing needle. You can either embroider the eyes using the same embroidery floss, or you could use safety eyes. These are 5 millimeter safety eyes. I'll show you both options in this video. We're starting with the main color. By the way, this is a cotton acrylic blend, and for the other dolphin I used 100% cotton. So I'd say use whatever you have. So we make a magic ring. Just use your preferred method. This always looks awkward because I'm sitting on the floor. And then we start with 6 single crochet into the magic ring. Close the magic ring. If you want to use 2 colors, then at the end of the next round we'll change colors. So I have the cream yarn ready there. In round 2 we also have 6 single crochet. So we just make 1 single crochet in each stitch. That's 5. And in the last one we change to cream. So now we pull the cream color yarn through the 2 gray or blue stitches. And that's round 2 complete. I'll pull the magic ring a bit tighter. Now I haven't pulled it very tightly in the beginning. Now that we're working with 2 colors, you might have your preferred method for this if you're used to it. I like to hold both yarns over my index finger. The color I'm working with is on top and the color that I'm carrying through the stitches is below. So this is how it looks for me, but you could also leave the color that you're carrying through hanging and just make sure that you carry it through the stitches while you work with the color on your index finger. And so for now we just have 1 single crochet in white, so we go through the next stitch and now we go under the gray yarn, pick up the white and pull it through underneath the gray, through the stitch, and now because it's the only white stitch we already changed back to gray. So then gray goes on top and white below. So if you prefer you could drop the white and carry it through the stitches this way. In the next stitch we'll make an increase, and now we pick up the gray yarn, pull it through underneath the white through the stitch, and then go over the white and pick up the gray again to complete the single crochet. 1 more single crochet in the same stitch to make the increase. In the next stitch we make 1 single crochet, then 1 increase again, and then 2 single crochet, and in the next one we change back to white. Now once you made a few stitches like we did now and you carried the yarn through, I recommend giving the yarn you carried through a gentle tug. Don't pull too much, just enough so that you don't have any of the contrast color stitches or yarn showing through in between the stitches that you just crocheted. So this will become more important the larger our round becomes, but I would do it from the start. So we finished this single crochet in white, and the final stitch of round 3 is a single crochet in the same stitch that we already crocheted in gray. Make another stitch in there, this time in white, and the next round begins with a white stitch, so we don't need to change back to gray immediately. We can make the whole single crochet in white. So I pick up the white yarn, pull it through the white loops. So now we have an increase that's half gray and half white. I'm not using a stitch marker yet. Maybe I should, just for you to know where the round ends. Sometimes when the rounds are so small, I don't do that. But let's do it for clarity. In round 4 we start with white, and this time we do change to gray. So in this white stitch here of the previous round we make another white stitch changing to gray. Then we make 7 single crochet in gray or blue or whatever your main color is. And in the 7th we change to white, and here we can again give the white yarn a gentle tug just to make sure that it doesn't show through in between the gray stitches. And then we finish the single crochet. And in the last stitch we make a single crochet in white, and again this one can be fully made in white. Round 5 starts with a single crochet in white, and we change to gray. Now gray goes on top. And then we have 2 single crochet in gray. And then we have 3 increases in a row. So 2 single crochet in the same stitch 3 times. And then we have 2 single crochet. With the second one we change to white. Again, giving the white yarn a gentle tug. And we finish with a single crochet in white. So now we have a stitch count of 12. In round 6 we start with 2 single crochet in white. The second one we change to gray. Then we have a single crochet, and then an increase, next 3 single crochet, sometimes you can tuck the yarn you're carrying through in between. You don't have to wait till the end of the round. Then we have an increase, and 4 single crochet. And the 4th goes in the last stitch here, but we change to white. Another little tug. And in the last stitch we single crochet in the same stitch to make an increase. It's half gray and half white. So now we have a stitch count of 15. In the next round we start with 2 white single crochet. So we change to gray in the second single crochet. And then we have 3 single crochet in gray. Then we increase in the next stitch. and single crochet in the next. And we repeat this 2 more times, 3 times in total. 1 increase and 1 single crochet, 1 increase and 1 single crochet. Then we have 3 single crochet, and in the last one we change to white. And I forgot to give the white yarn a tug, so here you can see the difference actually. So I'm pulling it now, but not too much, so we don't want the shape to get distorted. Like this is the perfect amount. And we finish with a single crochet in white. Now we have a stitch count of 18. In round 8 we start with 3 single crochet in white, so in the third one we change to gray. Then we single crochet in the same stitch, so now we have an increase that's half white and half gray, and next we have 5 single crochet. And an increase, and we repeat this 1 more time. 5 single crochet, and an increase. Next we have 2 single crochet, so in the second one we change to white. And then we finished the round with a single crochet in white, and now we have a stitch count of 21. Round 9 begins with 2 single crochet in white, and then we make an increase, so we change color in the second single crochet of the increase. Just slightly pulling the gray yarn. Then we have 2 single crochet, and an increase, Then we have 15 single crochet. The last one goes in the last stitch here. Oh, and we change to white. And then we finish the round with a single crochet in the same stitch. So here we have again an increase that's half gray and half white. And our stitch count is now 24. In round 10, we start with 4 single crochet in white. Then we have 2 single crochet in the main color. Then an increase. And 6 single crochet. And we repeat this again, 1 increase and 6 single crochet. And an increase and 2 single crochet. And in the second one we change to white. And then we finish the round with a single crochet in white. So now we have a stitch count of 27. In round 11 we start with 5 single crochet in white. And then we make 21 single crochet in gray. So one more to go. in which we'll change to white. And then we finish with 1 single crochet in white. In round 12, we start with 5 single crochet in white again. And then we have 2 single crochet in gray, then an increase, and 7 single crochet. And we repeat this again, 1 increase, and 7 single crochet. Then we have 1 more increase, and 2 single crochet. And we finish with a single crochet in white again. In round 13, we start with 6 single crochet in white. And then we make 23 single crochet in gray or blue. So our stitch count is 30 now, by the way. I didn't mention earlier. This yarn is a bit splitty. I'm not sure I recommend it. But the acrylic in it makes it nice and soft. In the 23rd, we change to white. And again, we finish with a single crochet in white. In round 14, we start with 6 single crochet in white. Then we have 2 single crochet in gray and an increase, and then 8 single crochet. And then we repeat this again, increase and 8 single crochet. Then we have another increase and 2 single crochet. And again we finish with a single crochet in white. Now we have a stitch count of 33, and in round 15 we start with 7 single crochet in white. And then we have 25 single crochet in gray. And again we finish with a single crochet in white. In round 16 we start with 2 single crochet, and then we make an increase. And then 4 single crochet. Then we make an increase. And 2 single crochet. And now we make our first decrease. So to do that we single crochet the front loops of the next 2 stitches together, in case you haven't done this before. So we go through the front loop of the next stitch, pull our hook down to insert it in the front loop of the next stitch. Then we pick up the yarn and pull it through the 2 front loops, and then pick it up and pull it through the 2 remaining loops. Then we have 6 single crochet, and we repeat this again, decrease and 6 single crochet. And then we have another decrease, and 2 single crochet, and an increase, and 1 single crochet. And again we finish with a single crochet in white, and our stitch count is still 33. In round 17 we start with 8 single crochet in white. And then we have 25 single crochet in gray. And this time the last single crochet is also made in gray, but we changed to white. So if you want to use safety eyes instead of embroidering the eyes, now would be a good time to insert them. So I'm going to try it with this version, so we can do it together. I'll put this timestamp in the description box below, and also here, so you can skip ahead if you want to embroider the eyes later, because then you can just continue crocheting. So I'll place the safety eyes in between rounds 10 and 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they go on the side, kind of like the center between the top and bottom half. So I think I'll leave 3 gray stitches. Now I lost the round. Sorry. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So that's what I did for the embroidered eyes. So let's see how that looks. It's a bit hard to tell because we didn't make this crease here yet, and we haven't embroidered the mouth, but I think we should be able to see if it looks all right. So that would be this side, and then 1, 2, 3, somewhere here. Oh, actually this time, because I'm not using pure cotton, it's much easier to insert the safety eyes. So probably I need to move 1 round ahead. It might be the same case for you, since we're working in a spiral. It doesn't. One eye should go, yeah, in between rounds 9 and 10, I guess. And that looks better. From the bottom, you can tell. So once you're happy with the placement, you can secure them, and then we'll continue crocheting. I should have mentioned this way earlier, so I will put this clip in the right place when editing the video, because we need to fill the head with Fiberfill, which is much easier earlier on. So I will do it now, which is fine, but when editing the video, I will remind you to do it earlier than I did, because that makes it easier, because we want to make sure that the Fiberfill goes everywhere. Don't worry about this snout here. I think it's called rostrum or something like this for dolphins. So we don't need to fill that part. Maybe here, the wider part of it. If you want to, then you can make like small Fiberfill balls. But I think it would naturally fill enough if we make sure the head is nicely filled. In round 18, we start with 4 single crochet. Then we make an increase and 4 more single crochet. Then 1 increase and 2 single crochet. Then we make a decrease and 6 single crochet. And we repeat this again from the decrease and 6 single crochet. Then we have another decrease, 2 single crochet and an increase in the last stitch. And the next round begins with white. So in the second single crochet of the increase, we change to white. So our stitch count is still 33. In round 19, we start with 10 single crochet in white. And then we have 23 single crochet in gray. And the next round we'll start with gray, so we don't need to change color in the last stitch. In round 20 we start with a single crochet in gray, and now we change it to white. Then we have a 9 single crochet in white, and then 3 single crochet, and a decrease, then 6 single crochet, and we repeat this again, so an increase, a decrease, and 6 single crochet, and 1 more decrease. And then we finish the round with 2 single crochet. So now we're down to a stitch count of 30. And the next round begins with a single crochet in gray. And then we have again 9 single crochet in white. And then we have 20 single crochet in gray. In round 22 we start with a single crochet and then we make an increase, changing to white in the second single crochet of the increase. Then we have 3 single crochet, one increase, and 3 single crochet. Then we have one more increase, then 2 single crochet, a decrease, and 6 single crochet, and we repeat this again, a decrease and 6 single crochet. And then we finish the round with a decrease. In round 23 we start with 4 single crochet, then we have 7 single crochet in white, and 19 single crochet in gray. Round 24 starts with 5 single crochet, then we have 6 single crochet in white, then we have a single crochet, and then 4 single crochet, and a decrease, and we repeat this 2 more times. 4 single crochet, and a decrease, 4 single crochet, and a decrease in the last 2 stitches. And continue to fill the body with Fiberfill. I just leave always some space so that I don't work the Fiberfill into my stitches accidentally. In round 25, we start with 6 single crochet, our stitch count is 27 now, by the way, and then we have 4 single crochet in white, and then we single crochet in the remaining 19 stitches. 17, sorry, in the remaining 17 stitches. In round 26, we start with 4 single crochet, then we have an increase, and 2 single crochet, then 1 single crochet, an increase, and 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet, an increase, and 2 single crochet, and then we have 2 more single crochet and a decrease, and we repeat this 2 more times. 2 single crochet, and a decrease, 2 single crochet, and a decrease. Our stitch count is still 27, and in round 27 we start with 9 single crochet. Then we have 3 single crochet in white, and 15 single crochet in gray. In round 28 we start with a 10 single crochet. Then 2 single crochet in white, and 7 single crochet in gray. Then we make a decrease, and then a single crochet, and a decrease, and repeat this once more, a single crochet, and a decrease. And now we have a stitch count of 24, and we can fasten the white yarn off. So in round 29 we continue in the main color only, hiding the white yarn end inside. Also I continued filling the body with Fiberfill. Now we make 1 single crochet and a decrease, and then we repeat this once more, single crochet, decrease, then 3 single crochet, and then increase, and 3 single crochet, and then increase, and then 1 single crochet, and again 1 single crochet and a decrease, and we repeat this 2 more times. 1 single crochet and a decrease, 1 single crochet and a decrease. So now our stitch count is down to 21, and in the next round we single crochet 1 in each of them. So just 21 single crochet. Keep adding more fiberfill as you go. And now in round 31, we start with a single crochet, and then we make a decrease, and then we do this again. Single crochet, decrease, then we make a single crochet and increase. So 2 single crochet in the same stitch. Then we have 3 single crochet, sorry, let me do that again because my yarn split. 3 single crochet, and then increase, and then 1 single crochet and decrease, and we repeat this 2 more times. 1 single crochet and a decrease, once more, single crochet, decrease, now we have a stitch count of 18, and in the next round we single crochet 1 in each of these 18 stitches. Now I'm adding more feather after every 2 rounds. In round 33, we start with 3 decreases. So 3 decreases in a row. Then 3 single crochet. And 3 increases in a row. Then 2 single crochet. And 2 decreases. So now we have a stitch count of 16, and in round 34 we single crochet 1 in each of these 16 stitches. In round 35 we start again with 3 decreases in a row. And then we make 2 single crochet. Then 3 increases in a row. One single crochet. And 2 decreases in a row. So now we have a stitch count of 14, and in the next round we single crochet 1 in each of these 14 stitches. And around 37 we start with 3 decreases again. Then we make 1 single crochet and 3 increases. 1, 2, 3, and then we finish with 2 decreases. Now we have a stitch count of 12, and I'll add more fiberfill. In round 38 we start with 3 decreases once more. Then we make 2 increases. And 2 decreases. So now we have a stitch count of 9. I would say this is the last chance to squeeze a little bit more fiberfill in if you want to. If not, you can just continue from here. So in round 39, we start with 2 decreases. And then we make 3 single crochet. And we finish with a decrease. So this is the round done, and this is the body done, but don't fasten off here because from here we will go straight into crocheting the tail fins. So from here we can start crocheting the tail fin. And so we want to start from the center top. And if your last stitch isn't at the center top, then you can make 1 single crochet to get there, or however many you need. For me, 1 will be enough. So I make 1 single crochet. In the next stitch. And now my last stitch is near the center top. It's even better if it's a bit further to the right. I think this will do. So now to start the left side from the dolphin's view, right side from our view, but let's call it the left side of the tail fin. We make 3 chains, and now we skip the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and the 4th stitch is the one we crochet in next. 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th. Sorry, we skip 3 stitches. Then we need to make sure that our hook comes out here in the center, and we make an increase here. 2 single crochet in the same stitch, and then we make 2 more increases, one in the next stitch and one in the next. Now we have these 3 chains that should be more or less vertical, if you look at the dolphin's belly here, and they divide the left and right side of the tail fin. And so to finish this first round of the tail fin, we single crochet 1 in each chain. So I just pick up the back loop of the chain because we want to use the front loop for the other side of the tail fin. It's also okay if you pick up 2 loops, 2 of the 3 loops, the loop in the back, as long as there's 1 loop left that you can work into for the other side. So now we make 1 single crochet in each. That was the first. The second. This here is the third. That's it. So this is the first round done. Now we continue working in this new round that we created here, and later we'll crochet out of this gap that we left here. So I'll place a stitch marker in the last stitch. We have a round of 9 now. And in the second round, we start with a single crochet. So the first stitch is very easy to miss. I actually just missed it during my first try. So this is the one. There we go. Single crochet, then we increase in the next stitch. And we repeat this 2 more times. 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and we finish with 3 single crochet. So now we have a stitch count of 12. In round 3, we start with 2 single crochet. And then we increase. And we repeat this 2 more times. 2 single crochet and an increase. Once more, 2 single crochet increase, and we finish with 3 single crochet. So now we have a stitch count of 15, and in the next round we single crochet in all 15 stitches. In round 5 we start with 9 single crochet. And then we'll make 3 decreases. Now we're back down to a stitch count of 12, and in round 6 we make 2 single crochet and a decrease. And we repeat this 2 more times. Now we're down to a stitch count of 9, and in round 7 we start with 1 single crochet. Then we make a decrease. I forgot to mention the tail fins are not filled with Fiberfill. We'll just press them flat in the end. So we repeat the 1 single crochet and 1 decrease 2 more times, 3 times all together. And then we finish with 3 decreases in a row. 1, 2 that again without splitting the yarn. 2, the last one is a bit tricky. Sometimes I use my nail to pull it onto the hook. There we go. That's one. And the other one. And 3. So here we can fasten off. We don't need a long yarn end, just long enough to close the round and weave the tail in. So now we need our yarn needle. And then we close the round by going through the front loop of each stitch. And then we go through the center of the last round. And weave in the yarn end. You can do that wherever you like. I'll just do it underneath this side of the tail fin. So now we can crochet the other side. So now we'll rejoin the yarn to crochet the right side of the tail fin. And we will crochet it out of the 3 skipped stitches here and the other side of these 3 chains in the center that we made. So it might be helpful to first identify these chains because this can be a bit tricky. They're just these little loops here on the opposite side of the single crochet that we made. So this here is one of them, and you may pick up 1 or 2 loops. Either way works. And this is the second one. And this should be the first one. And this is where we rejoin the yarn. So I'm just pulling a loop through this first chain that we made here. And then we start with 3 increases in these 3 skipped stitches. So the first one goes in here. And another one. And another one. That's the 3 increases done. Now we make 3 single crochet, 1 in each of the back loops of the chains. When we did the other side of the tail fin, they were the front loops. I'm just calling them back loops now from our perspective here. So we just go through the loop opposite of the single crochet we made and single crochet then in the next one, and the last one goes into the same loop. Actually, it might have been this one. I joined the yarn wrong. So yeah, either put it in the place where you joined the yarn, or if the chain is easy to find, make the third single crochet in there. So now we have our round of 9 single crochet. I placed the stitch marker in the last stitch. And then in the next round we start with 1 single crochet, and then increase. This is the next stitch. And increase in the next stitch. And we repeat this 2 more times. 1 single crochet and 1 increase. One single crochet and 1 increase. And then we have 3 single crochet. So now we have a stitch count of 12, and in the next round we start with 2 single crochet and then increase. And we repeat this 2 more times. And then we finish with 3 single crochet. So now we have a stitch count of 15. And in the next round we single crochet 1 in each of these 15 stitches. In round 5 we make again 9 single crochet, and then 3 decreases in a row. So then in the next round we make 2 single crochet and a decrease, and we repeat this 2 more times. In the next round we make 1 single crochet. Maybe first it would be a good idea to hide this yarn end inside. There we go. In the next round we make 1 single crochet and a decrease, and we repeat this 2 more times. That's the one. And in the last round we have again 3 decreases. And here we fasten off and close the round this and weave in the yarn and the same way we did on the other side. Now we can crochet the dorsal fin. It is crocheted in the round as well and then pressed flat like the tail fin. So we start with a magic ring. And we begin with 4 single crochet in the magic ring. I don't close the ring very tightly yet. In round 2, we start with 1 single crochet. Here again it helps to, at least it helps me to pull the stitch on my hook using my fingernail. So 1 single crochet, and then we have 2 increases. and a single crochet. So now we have a stitch count of 6. In round 3 we start with a single crochet, and then we make 3 increases in a row. 1, 2, 3, and then we finish with 2 single crochet. So now we have a stitch count of 9. I'm pulling the magic ring a little tighter now. In round 4 we start with 4 single crochet. Then we make 3 increases, and finish with 2 single crochet. Now we have a stitch count of 12, and in round 5 we single crochet 1 in each of these 12 stitches. That's 12. So for the last 2 rounds I'll place a stitch marker in the last stitch. In round 6 we start with 2 increases, and then we have 2 single crochet. And then we have 1 single crochet and 1 increase. And we repeat this 2 more times. And we finish with 2 single crochet. So now we have a stitch count of 17. And in round 7, the last round, we start with 1 single crochet and an increase, and we repeat this once more, 1 single crochet and 1 increase. Then we have 2 single crochet and an increase, 2 single crochet, and we repeat the increase and 2 single crochet 2 more times. So 1 increase and 2 single crochet, and again 1 increase and 2 single crochet, and then we finish the round with 2 single crochet. So that makes a stitch count of 22. And now we complete the round by making a slip stitch in the next stitch and fastening off, leaving a long yarn end for sewing this time. So we press the fin flat. So for me, the end of the round is somewhere here near the front. This tip should slightly tilt backwards. So it should look something like this. And now we can set it aside for later when we assemble. Now we'll crochet the pectoral fins, and we make 2 of them. They're both made the same way. We start again with a magic ring. And 4 single crochet. And again, I close the magic ring, not too tightly just yet. In round 2, we start with an increase. And then we have a single crochet. And we repeat this once more. 1 increase. And 1 single crochet. I just need to make sure that this is going in. And we can close the magic ring tighter now. In the next round, we single crochet in all 6 stitches that the round now has. So 1 single crochet in each. And that's round 3 done. In round 4, we start with an increase. And then we make a single crochet. And we repeat this 2 more times. And now we have a stitch count of 9. I'll put in a stitch marker now just to be sure. In round 5, we start with 3 increases. and then we make 6 single crochet. So now we have a stitch count of 12. In round 6, we start with a single crochet, and then we make an increase, and we repeat this 2 more times. Single crochet, increase, and then we make 3 decreases. Now we still have a stitch count of 12, and in the last and 7th round, we'll make 1 single crochet in each of them. That's it, and here we also finish with a slip stitch in the next stitch, and then we fasten off, leaving a long yarn end for sewing. And the fin should point backwards, slightly backwards. So where we have this curve here, this is going to be the back, and this is going to be the front. And then you can go to the timestamps below to make the other pectoral fin. Next, we're going to embroider this crease between the forehead and the snout or rostrum, I think. So for this, we need yarn in the main color, about 16 inches or 40 centimeters should be enough. And we need a yarn needle. So we thread the piece of yarn onto our yarn needle. And now we find rounds 8 and 9. So one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the spot in between. And so 2 stitches above the white here is where we insert our needle. So 1, 2, it's somewhere here close to the eye. So if you didn't make eyes yet, great, that will be even easier. We'll embroider them in the end. And now we bring the needle through to the same spot on the other side. So should come out somewhere here. You can wiggle until there's no fiberfill attached to it. So this looks good. So when you look at it from the bottom, it should look like it's in the same spot. The needle is horizontal now. Also, it's close to the eye if you already put in the eyes. So this way you can tell that it's in the correct spot on both sides. So now we pull the yarn through. We just leave this end long enough so we can weave it in the end. And now we find rounds 4 and 5 on the top of the head. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4 and 5. And here we pick up a loop in between rounds 4 and 5 on top. So if we look at it from above, it should be centered. So this is the little loop that I picked up. And then we pull the yarn through. And now we have this line here. And now we go through the same spot here again between rounds 8 and 9, through the head. And here I need to be careful because my yarn is 50% acrylic. If you have cotton, don't worry, that's much better, much sturdier, because now we want to pull the yarn tight. You can pull on both ends, and this way we get an indentation under the eyes, and we also get this crease here. If you can see how the shape slightly changes. So this is enough for now. We repeat these 2 stitches to increase the indentation. So here we go again through the stitch on top, same one, and again through the head sideways. And for me, a little fiberfill is flashing out there, but we can hide that in a bit. So now we have 2 stitches on top of each other, and again we can pull on both ends until we're happy with the crease or with the indentation under the eye here. For me, that's enough. I don't want to take it further because I'm not sure how much this yarn can handle, and I think it's enough anyway. I can show you the other dolphin to compare. So this is how it looks. And now we can weave in both ends. So keeping the tension on it, the desired tension, and then weaving it in thoroughly so that it doesn't come loose. So I let you do that, oops, in your own time. So that's the crease here done. Next we can embroider the mouth, and so for this we need our black embroidery floss and the darning needle or large-eyed sewing needle. So here we need again 16 inches or 40 centimeters. And we thread it onto our darning needle or large-eyed sewing needle. So for this dolphin, the eyes are already in, but if you didn't use safety eyes, then still you can start with embroidering the mouth, and I'll show you how to embroider the eyes afterwards on the other dolphin. So I'll embroider the mouth somewhere between this crease and the white part, being careful to leave a little gap between the white part and the mouth, so I don't want to embroider it onto the white part. And when it comes to the shape, this is really up to you how you want to make it. I'll just make a little diagonal upward stitch and then more or less a straight line, and the front goes here on top of round 1 so that the lower jaw is somehow higher, I think you could say, if you know what I mean. So with this kind of embroidery, it's helpful not to stitch through in between stitches, like here for example, because there's lots of wiggle room and that limits the control over the stitch placement. So it's best to just stitch through the fibers of the yarn. So trying to do that, I make a little diagonal upward forward stitch, and here I leave the end long enough so that I can hide it later on, and then I repeat this just to finish the stitch. And now I want to make a long line forward, but I divide it into 3 stitches. Maybe a little bit higher. That's 1 stitch. I'll repeat the same to finish this one here. So now we have 2. I may need to divide it into 4 this time. So I kind of just follow the, I make it parallel to the color change here, and it should lead to one side on round 1 here, on the top side of round 1. And repeating that again. So that's one side. We'll fix that later on. So if it doesn't look nice, like mine here, don't worry, it's not done yet. Now we make a small horizontal stitch here on the upper part of round 1. And then we repeat all of these stitches on the other side in the other direction. So this is the front stitch. I'm going through here again. Just want to make sure I finish it in the same spot. Okay, I divided the stitches slightly differently this time. Now what's just left is my tiny diagonal stitch, like the last bit of the long stitch, and then the small diagonal stitch that goes this time backwards and downwards. That's it. Now we repeat this again. Okay. Now we wrap the thread around each stitch. So I'm just pulling the needle through under the stitch, trying not to catch any fibers of the thread, and just wrapping it around. And for the shorter stitches, I wrap it around once. Here I made a very short stitch, so I'm going through here once, and through the longer stitches, or around the longer stitches, I go twice, and this makes the line bolder, smoother, and it covers any gaps like this one here that might show up. So just wrapping the thread around each stitch. Here I go around twice as well. And in the front I go around twice as well because it goes around the corners here. Wrapping it around twice. And once around this small stitch here. And then we can hide these ends. So here I just go through the corner of the mouth, and then I find a nearby spot in between stitches. If you have pliers, this might be helpful to use them to pull the needle through. So this is one yarn or thread end, and now I'm bringing the other thread end to the same spot. So this one is shorter. I didn't need as much embroidery floss this time. So I first insert the needle, and I just want to make sure that it goes through the same spot, not catching any fibers. And now I thread the needle. I didn't want to make you watch the whole ordeal. So now it's threaded, and we can bring this end to the same spot. And now we can tie them together. and cut them short. And then we hide them by inserting our hook somewhere nearby and then pulling them inside. There we go. So that's the mouth done. So next I'll show you how to embroider the eyes if you haven't used safety eyes. If you use safety eyes, you can skip this step and open the description box below and click on the assembly part of the tutorial. I'll show you how to embroider the eyes on this other dolphin here. So for this we need again black embroidery floss. This time 30 centimeters or 12 inches should be enough. And we need our darning needle or large-eyed sewing needle again. And I'm going to embroider the eyes here, like centered. If you look at the dolphin from the side, quite centered. I'm leaving one round space between the corner of the eye, the corner of the mouth, sorry, and the eye. So I'm now inserting the needle somewhere where there's a gap between stitches, like here, large enough gap. And then I bring the needle to the spot where I want the outer corner of the eye to be. And here the same thing counts as for the mouth embroidery. It's best to stitch through the fibers of the yarn. So then we're pulling this through. And again, leaving this end long enough to hide later. And since it's already in its hiding spot, this should be enough. So now we embroider the eye by making a French knot. And so to do that, we hold the needle close to the exit point of the thread here and wrap the thread around the needle. And the amount of times you wrap it around will determine the thickness of the size of the eyes in this case. So I did 6 yarn overs before. I did 3 so far. 4, 5, 6. If you want the eyes bigger, you can wait and watch me finish this and then decide if you want to make fewer or more yarn overs. So now I'm holding the tension on the thread here with my thumb. You could use any finger that feels most comfortable to you. And then I pull the needle back and insert it where the inner corner of the eye should go. So I want this to be somewhere in between this and this round, but more on this, not exactly in between rounds, because we want to catch some fibers of the yarn, like I said. Somewhere here looks good. And then I'll go straight to the other side where I'll do the other eye. So here again, I want about 1 round space in between the corner of the mouth and the eye should be somewhere in the middle between top and bottom. You can check if it's the same height as the other eye by looking at it from this side. So this will tell you the needle should be horizontal now. So now I'm still keeping tension on this thread because we don't want this all those yarn overs. I'm saying I've been saying the whole time. I think you know what I mean. We don't want these loops on the needle to unravel. So I'm actually holding a finger on the eye now as I'm pulling the needle through and pulling the thread through. And that's it. That's one eye done. Now we can do the other one here. We're now at the inner corner of the eye, so we're doing this in the other direction. And again, to make the French knot, we hold the needle close to the exit point of the thread and wrap the yarn around the same amount of times. That's 6. Hold it in place with your finger while you pull the needle back and insert it wherever you want the outer corner of the eye to go. So it's kind of the other end of this same round where I embroidered the eye. So now, if I can, we'll see. If I can, I'll go straight to this point here where the other end is. Yeah, that should actually work. You can bring it first somewhere else and then take it there if that's easier. And now I'm holding again the tension on the thread as I pull the needle through. And now put my finger on the eye as I pull the thread through. And that's it. That's the other eye done. So now we can hide these thread ends the same way we hid them for the mouth embroidery. Now it's time to attach the fins. So I'm starting with the pectoral fins. They go on each side here between the white and gray or blue part onto rounds 14 to 18. So I'm counting rounds now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this is where it starts. They're both the same, so it doesn't matter which one you take. And this is where they go. So this tip points slightly backwards. And I just pin it in place. A little bit further forward. They can also point slightly downwards. And the other one. And now we can sew it on. So start with either side. You can hide the other yarn end inside the floss. weave it in, doesn't matter. I'm using the longer one to, I'm saying floss. You can either hide the shorter yarn end inside the fin or weave it in. Doesn't matter, whatever you prefer. I think I'll weave it in. And I'm using the longer one that's now threaded on my yarn needle to sew the fin on. Just picking up a loop very close to it and then going through the nearest stitch of the round. So I'm going all around, sewing it on but keeping it flat as much as possible. So now I'm going to through this loop and through the next stitch. And the next loop. And the next stitch, I'm keeping this end here to weave in later. And now for the other side, I pick up the gray, a loop on the gray part. And I hold the fin down. This way it will point slightly downwards once it's attached. Trying to get a lower loop. Here we go. Through the same one again. And that's it. Oh no, a few left on the inside here. So here, pick up a white loop again. And the final stitch. That's it. So now I can weave in the yarn end anywhere on the main color part, and then I'll weave in this yarn end and repeat all of these steps with the other fin. So now we can attach the dorsal fin, and so this tip should be pointing slightly backwards. So this is the way we'll attach it. And then we count to around 20. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this is the first round we attach it to, round 20 to 26. And then it should, of course, be centered on the back. And so with this fin, we attach the edge like a oval shape here, if you know what I mean. We press it flat onto the back. So this way it will hopefully blend in better with the body. I'm also using the a method to attach it that hopefully makes it look more blended in. So we can pin it in place and see how it looks then. So you can see if you're happy with that. I think it's more or less in the center, like there's the same distance on each side, front and back. So once you're happy with that, you can, oh, again, you can hide the shorter end inside the fin. In this case, I will do it because the way we attach it is different. And then we can thread the longer end onto our yarn needle. I'm not sure if it's called seamless join. I don't know, this method has a name. But what we'll do is we find the closest loop near the next stitch of the fin. So if this is the first one we'll stitch down, then we find the closest loop, go through there. And then up through the next stitch. And then right next to where the needle exited before, we go in so that the stitches are very small and close together. And pull tight. Then go through the nearest stitch from the bottom up. And again, find the loop next to the one you went through before. I think usually you go through in between stitches, but this way should work as well. Then through the next stitch, and then every few stitches you can pull the yarn nice and tight. So here I go through in between rounds because this just happens to line up nicely. And through the nearest stitch or the next stitch from the bottom up. Be careful if you're using acrylic yarn. Mine is 50% acrylic, so I can't pull too tightly, but pulling it tight helps the fin blend in more with the body. Just be a bit careful. If you're using cotton yarn, you should be good. Once in a while, just checking to make sure that it's nice and centered. So this way we go all around. I'll let you do the rest in your own time. And that's it. Our little dolphin is complete. Thank you very much for crocheting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up for me and subscribe if you want to get notified of future crochet tutorials. Also turn on notification to make sure of that, and share this video with anyone who you think might enjoy it as well. Thank you again so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.